like a biscuit, so it's
Mhm.
got some flour in it. So it is a half cup water, 4 tablespoons of butter, with a half cup of fresh grated Gruyere. I can't say
Gruyere.
it. Gruyere.
Hey,
There
look,
you go.
I got one on
You
you.
got me. High five.
Woo-hoo.
Woo!
I pronounced something correctly and probably can't.
Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 61, Thanksgiving Appetizers.
Yeah, like we're not going to be filling up on the dinner. Let's get you full before you even eat.
That's exactly right. We want to make sure that you're ready for those turkey sandwiches later too.
Yes.
So, look, it's time to break out the kitsch family favorites because some of these things we only see once a year, like cheese balls,
Yeah.
French onion dip, dips that you can stuff into a cob loaf, like spinach dip, artichoke dip.
Yeah, or the Norse vegetable dip.
Yes,
Yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about how many servings you need, what soaks up the alcohol the best to help dinner conversation later.
And if you're
too.
missing the alcohol, just go to our last episode.
Yeah, they should run nicely into each other.
Yes. Not literally.
Pre-dinner drinks need accompaniments. So this is what we're talking about because you want to control how drunk Uncle Phil is
Yeah.
on the day.
Well, the compliment.
So Phil,
If I'm bringing you the drinks, you're ready to listen up.
That's right, everyone. Let's have to have a talk before we start. These topics are not covered.
Yeah.
So Phil, welcome to the show.
Well, yeah, it's getting that time of year.
Oh, I do love it.
It's not cold.
No, I know. That bit makes me sad.
Yeah, I know. Even up in Northern California, it's colder.
Yeah, it is. Like it's sweater weather. And also that makes for more drinking inside and being cozy.
Yes.
And also, you have a whole day. So Thanksgiving, the way we celebrate it here, like you and Jeanette, if you don't do it on the weekend, if you have it in the night, you just have dinner.
Yes.
But
yeah. So we spread it out. So a lot of people have it the week before, the week after, or on the day. So it's 3 days.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is to help when you have that long, slow sort of ease into it.
But, as most Americans know, this is really a very traditional, non-sectarian holiday.
Yeah.
Biggest holiday in America, biggest travel time in America. So it's time to all give thanks.
That's right.
Put the last 2 years behind us.
Give thanks to the next couple ahead of us.
Yeah, let's just hope we get there without going into lockdown.
That's right. And it'll be nice for us because we'll be able to celebrate with friends and family.
And a lot of you probably listen to this afterwards that just coming back from America.
Yes.
After all this time.
Oh, being on a plane. I can't imagine anymore, but it'd be lovely. And, Thanksgiving is the most traveled day of the year. When you talk about travel. Now, Phil.
Yes.
Our usual job.
Oh, the housekeeping.
The housekeeping.
You're not the old Hoover.
Where's Hazel?
At my house. Okay. So we got the listener discount. So you know how that works. So if you buy anything online or click and collect, use our secret code. And it's still November.
Yes.
Might be the last one, but it's still November.
That's right.
It's stuffing.
Stuffing it is.
Stuffing.
It's stuffing. And you can look for a little purple listener discount logo next to the item, or you can search for it in the little search bar above. And if everyone who's enjoying listening to us, we hope you are, please feel free to subscribe, share, and you can engage with us at podcast@usafoods.com.au. We would love to hear from you.
And don't forget, at the end of the show, we got the Ripper Recipe Roundup. Got that out.
Yes,
and Personal Product Best. So who would it be this week?
We'll work
I think it's you.
I think it's me.
Yes. Okay, so today's show, appetizers, types, recipes, and memories.
Yes, good Thanksgiving memories.
Yeah, and then we can't go by without having a presidential fun fact.
Oh, I love
this. This is a lot of presidents.
I love this one. Can I read this one?
Yeah,
because I just love the irony of it. The history of the U.S. presidents pardoning turkeys is patchy. Harry Truman is often credited with being the first president to pardon a turkey, but this is not quite true. He was the first to receive a ceremonial turkey from the National Turkey Federation, And he ate it.
Oh, that's what you're supposed to do with a turkey.
John F. Kennedy was the first to let the Thanksgiving turkey go, followed by Richard Nixon, who sent his turkey to a petting zoo.
He pardoned it.
He
And
did.
then he was expecting a pardon from
Himself.
the turkey. Yeah.
And George H.W. Bush is the president who formalized the turkey pardoning tradition in 1989. And it is a wonderfully uncomfortable moment for every president's kids.
Yeah.
After
And one of the big traditions in America
Yes.
is sitting down on your butt and watching the football game. So this all started as college football. Started in 1876, Yale versus Princeton.
There we go.
And the first NFL games were played in Thanksgiving in 1920.
Right.
So, but they never conflict. They never conflict the college with the pros.
Well, they're smart like that, those programming people. But I have the sound of Thanksgiving is football games in the background. Yeah. I love it. It's the soundtrack to it. Now, if you're trying to work out how many bites per person for hors d'oeuvres, if you're hosting 25 to 35 guests, which is a big Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is huge.
That's a Martha Stewart, man.
That is.
Even in
or a
prison.
big Italian family. Yeah. It's about 3 to 4 bites per person if a full dinner is to be served. So I think that would be safe. So you have to figure out what people might want more of.
You need a slide ruler for that.
Or Google.
Google, yeah. Hey, Google. All right, so we'll got to take our first turkey break and gobble down some goodies and be back very shortly. Okay, we're back.
Yes, we are. Now, we're going to start off just with a classification of appetizers.
Is this by the USDA, this classification, or...
This might have been Martha Stewart. So here are just all sorts of different kinds. And what we call appetizers here are a different thing as well. So, okay, we have cocktails, which consists of several bite-sized pieces of fish, shellfish, drinks and fruit served with a tangy flavored sauce.
Yeah, like shrimp cocktail.
Yes, that's right. And then we've got canapes.
The canapé. Now, the only reason I know canapes are from Three Stooges. The canapé. and maybe the honeymooners.
Yeah.
When they had the canapes and Ralph gave it to Norton, or Norton gave it to Ralph.
Right.
And it ended up being cat food. So basically it's a cracker with chopped liver on it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that because pretty much savory tidbits of food, preferably not for the cat. So we've got relishes and crudités.
Crudités. It's like the capités. Oh.
So, Juliana.
So that's like for the healthy people because that's like your raw julienne, carrots and all of broccoli, that. But then you have that bad dip to dip it into. You know that. Oh, this is so healthy for you. Not the dip, but look how much you're putting on there.
And also, you can get the what is the pickled vegetables?
You
can put. We used to have a little bowl
like the gherkins and things like that, and
little cauliflower.
Yeah, the Italian one.
Yeah, so we
gardenia or something like that.
Yeah, it's like yes, and we used to
have
it
was really vinegary.
Yeah, it was, and we had a little bowl of that as well that used to go out. Salads, soups, and consommes, which
but salads go a long way. You know, there's so many different salads. Like when we have it with the Delbys over here, like everybody brings a salad. You know,
they do. That is Christmas dinner in some houses.
And some of them have I think it's Jenny that makes the one with pumpkin in it. She does like roast pumpkin into the salad, and that's really good.
And you can do like a grain salad, like a quinoa salad, or you can do potato salad. You can do chicken salad. All those little things.
Yep.
And soups and consommes, which we listened to the last podcast. Phil was talking about little gazpacho, and you can do those in little shot glasses if you're being extra fancy.
Yeah, and that'd be nice little bit, and and then for Uncle Harry, just put a little bit of the vodka in it, and so.
And good old chips and dips. That's sort of we have some of that at our house too. You got the good dip with the Ruffles chips.
One thing we got lots of in the store is also said chips and
everything.
every different. Now we got those new ones, the pigless pork rinds. So if you feel guilty about eating pork rinds, which are
Yes.
like really good, it's like eating a crackle. Basically, it's the same thing,
It is.
just done differently.
Or if you have members of the family who don't eat meat,
Yep.
there you can try that as well. You can cater to everyone.
Yep.
And as my dad used to say, horsey devies or hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Small portions of highly seasoned food, formerly used to precede a meal served either hot or cold. Traditionally, at our house, and then we'll go into we have some recipes and what we do and don't do, but I think we should both speak. When growing up and as adults ourselves, traditionally, like Mom would have, plates of, different things to nibble on, like, like now you'd call it a charcuterie board, but then it was just nibbles.
No, we call it antipasta.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you'd have some chips and dips and things around, and I think we would actually start snacking on those about 10 a.m. while we were cooking.
And the onion dip. Remember as a kid how good that was, the Lipton soup mix making the onion dip?
Which we have in the house, which we'll be
And-
talking about as well.
Yeah. And then deviled eggs, it is charcuterie boards or the antipasta.
Mom used to make these salami. So if you get some salami and you put cream cheese in the middle, just a spread of cream cheese and a pepperoncini, roll it up, toothpick in the middle.
That's nice.
Oh, I love those. And those come out Thanksgiving, Easter, every football game, Super Bowl, all of that.
Like when we go to New York, we go to Bellucci's or whatever down in Lower Manhattan. And like one thing that Jeanette always looks for is they get mozzarella and they slice it thin, and then they put prosciutto or salami, and then they roll it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Like $38 a pound,
Ooh, but it's worth the $38 a pan. So you did what was happening at your house when you were a kid?
Well, we had like the traditionals, like the onion dip and then the antipasto. And the antipasto consisted of the Italian style, like the salamis, supersad, the provolone, things like that was on there. Mostly all traditional Italian stuff. But one thing my grandmother insisted was on the dinner for Thanksgiving, there will be no Italian food. No pasta, nothing that looks Italian. It was all straight American food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was just because it's America. It's an American holiday. It's not an Italian holiday.
Oh, that's
And she laid the law down, and that's...
And then, so it stuck.
Yeah. I think they cheated a little bit on the stuffing.
Well... You gotta have the flavor.
My aunts put everything. I could not tell you what went into that bird, but it was like everything in the kitchen sink. Chestnuts was one.
No.
Chestnuts and stuffing is unbelievable.
Yes, that would be
plus
wonderful.
all the gizzards and all that other stuff. And I think sometimes when they ran out of, this is true, when they ran out of stuffing and didn't have enough stuffing, I think they boiled up a pot of macaroni, right? The little bitty ones you use for soup.
Yes.
And use that. And put that into the stuffing too.
Well, why not?
Yeah, just to fill up that bird.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
And that was always my favorite part of the Thanksgiving dinner.
The stuffing.
The stuffing.
Well, yes.
And the sweet potatoes.
Yes, that is the favorite at this house too. I've been told that maybe I should make 2 pans of it this year.
Yeah, it's just the hell with the bird. Just make stuffing.
That's exactly what we do.
They'll never miss it. Just feed them all the stuffing, and then they're full. You want any turkey? No, good. I didn't make any.
That's fine. There's none in there. It's like the turkey from Christmas Vacation that blows up.
Yeah.
Mom makes deviled eggs at every holiday too. So that is, now we do ours differently. We've discussed this several times. You do the sweet version.
Sweet, but that's more for Easter.
Yeah. And then we do the old fashioned
with the paprika and all that.
Yes, and mustard and mayo and relish and all the good stuff. Cheese balls. Now, that is a good old hit that comes out occasionally. We used to buy one.
You used to go to the mall and get at
Hickory Farms.
Hickory Farms, there it is.
Zane and I used to taste our way around Hickory Farms before they'd run us out. We'd see how many because it had samples of everything.
Yeah.
Summer sausage and all for Hickory Farm summer sausage. So the cheese balls, so you can do that with cream cheese, soften it a bit, and you get grated cheese in there, whatever you want. So you can get
good sharp cheddar.
Yeah,
into it
something sharp, and then you can stick
coat it with whatever you like.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
you roll
usually
it.
nuts.
Yeah, so almonds or
Walnuts, soft nuts, like
Yep.
walnuts and pecans.
pecans, and then break into it.
Mm.
And there's other things that we have. So these are some ideas. So we talk about appetizers a bit because we kind of can't. We don't get them here like
Yeah.
like we used to. I've looked up a few. Now, one of these, the first one, I can't have at my house because someone to the left of me is not a fan of brie.
Yeah.
So cranberry brie bites. So if you want some hot hors d'oeuvres out there, the problem is also, may I just say, we have all built open plan kitchens now,
Yeah.
and everyone hangs around the kitchen, which I love most of the
What it's
time.
for. That's where everybody is anyway, even before the open plan.
Yes, but we want to kind of like get people out of the kitchen while you're doing the ugly stuff.
Right. The ugly stuff.
You like carving the bird up or, all of that. So cranberry brew bites, you need a tube of crescent dough.
Now that's going to be a problem.
That is.
Because with all the transport issues this year going on, we're not expecting any of that for the Christmas time because we just can't get the refrigerated transport. Okay, but we do have the Pillsbury hot roll mix,
and that will work.
And you can substitute that, but it's a little bit more work. But then you feel better about it.
That's right. It's from scratch.
Yes.
And the box, but you can.
The box is not really scratch. Yeah.
No, but that's okay. We won't tell anyone. If you bought it, it's yours. And you can think ahead for Easter as well. So you need a tube of crescent dough. You need some flour. You need a wheel of brie, a half cup whole berry cranberry sauce, quarter cup pecans, 6 sprigs of rosemary cut into 1-inch pieces. So heat the oven to 375. Grease a mini muffin pan with cooking spray. On a lightly floured surface, roll out your dough and pinch together. It comes with seams, so you don't need to do that. Cut into 24 squares. Place squares into the muffin tin slots. Cut the brie into small pieces and place inside it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep. So you can even do this like with a puff pastry.
Make a little
cup.
Yeah.
Yep. Top with a spoonful of cranberry sauce, some pecans, and a little sprig of rosemary. Bake until it's golden, about 15 minutes. And that's like its own little thing you can carry.
Yep. So that's really good.
And a mini muffin pan, like the idea of a good hors d'oeuvre is sort of one bite. You can just
just one bite and
yep.
You'll burn your tongue and your upper palate. How many times have you done that?
Oh yes, that's
especially with hot cheese.
Hot cheese and cranberry, so you're double whammy. Jeez. Now there's things like cheese puffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever done cheese straws, Phil? Like with the
No, I've had them a lot. Like when I've been on the food shows, there's one lady that makes them, and she wants us to bring them in here. But they're because they're all cheese, they're very expensive. But similar to that, if you like cheese puffs, then you'll like the Taco Bell.
The cheese crackers.
The cheese crackers,
and it's just made from cheese.
Just made from cheese. There's no flour or anything. It's cheese. I had a big argument with our broker.
We haven't had a rant for a whole show, so please go. No, go ahead.
She's telling me, wow, this is what the main ingredient and the only ingredient is cheese. Yeah, it's a cracker. Well, it's the main ingredient is cheese. It's considered a cracker. Okay, it says on the label, cracker. It goes down as a biscuit. Tell the government it's a biscuit. It's cracker. That's what it says. That's what it is. Oh, I said, Jen, if she don't do it, she's gone. So she did it anyway, and no problems.
No, because it's cooked.
It's cooked cheese at a certain temperature. Blah blah blah. It's considered a biscuit, and biscuits are.
And if you are,
have a different category.
And if you can't have any wheat or anything, it's
that's
quite
why
handy.
Cheez-Its and Cheetos and all that never have a problem coming into the country.
Yeah.
Because they're considered into that category.
That's right. Okay, so rant one gone for the day.
Okay.
So if you want to make some cheese puffs, which I really love these.
Are these like cheese sticks or just puffs?
They're like puffs. So you kind of have it's like a biscuit. So it's got some flour in it. So it is a half cup water, 4 tablespoons of butter, half teaspoon of kosher salt, a half teaspoon of granulated sugar, teaspoon fresh white pepper, a half cup, we call it plain flour here, all-purpose flour, and 2 large eggs with a half cup of fresh grated Gruyere. I can't say
Gruyere.
it. Gruyere.
Hey,
There
look,
you go.
I got one on you.
got me. High five. Woo!
I pronounced something correctly and probably can't.
Shocking, that girl. Plus more for topping. So once you finish celebrating my lack of pronunciation, you heat the oven to 400. That would be Fahrenheit. Celsius would be a bit scary. So about 200 Celsius. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. In a saucepan, combine the water, butter, sugar, salt, white pepper, and bring to a boil. Add the flour all at once and stir with a wooden spoon until a smooth dough forms. Continue to cook until it pulls away from the pan. So this is like a choux pastry. Forms a ball and a film develops around the bottom of the pot. So this is going to take about 2 minutes. Transfer the dough to a bowl and continue to mix with a wooden spoon to cool it down about 1 minute. Beat in the eggs one at a time, mixing until smooth and fully incorporated. Fold in the cheese, which I won't say.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Transfer batter into a piping bag or use a 2 teaspoon cookie scoop and create a small 1 inch wide mounds on a prepared baking sheet about 1 inch apart. Top with more cheese and baked until puffed and golden. 20 to 25 minutes, and they are just yummy. And also, like when I was lucky enough to go away in Paris, they would often bring you these little cheese puffs instead of like a cookie.
Oh, yeah.
They put a little plate of these on the table, and it's just
Well, you got everybody twitching. A lot of people are twitching after you reading this recipe. Every time you mention wooden spoon.
The whacker. I was lucky. We had the fly swatter. The wooden spoons were still, they don't trigger me. But you? How about I think my grandma used to chase my dad around with the razor strap.
Yeah. It's almost like a rubber hose. Yeah, that's the old John Prime song. I know a guy that a lot to lose. He beats his old lady with a rubber hose or something like that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's the way the world goes round.
And
Yep.
yes.
One day you're up, next you're down. So
Happy
now you
Thanksgiving,
got a crab,
everybody.
artichoke stuffed mushroom.
Now
So what are you stuffing? The mushroom, the artichoke, or the crab?
You're stuffing the mushrooms.
Mhm.
But I love stuffed mushrooms, and I miss ordering those at a restaurant. I miss stuffed mushrooms. So you just need, I'm going to go through this quickly because you can kind of mix up any filling you want and pop it into a mushroom.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if you have the chance to do crab and artichoke is lovely with a bit of cream cheese, shredded Monterey Jack, garlic, find some crab meat, green onions, Worcestershire sauce, which is probably, I would stick with that with whatever you did, some kosher salt, ground black pepper, just mix it to how you would like. And then you pop it into the button mushroom. And then you can bake it 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. And you can also put them in the air fryer because Phil and I both like our air fryers. So you can place 5 to 8 mushrooms in the air fryer basket, cook mushrooms at 360 for 10 minutes, repeat with remaining mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that if you find an artichoke dip, even the spinach dip that we're talking about, the Nor vegetable dip.
Yeah.
All of those you can use to stuff the mushrooms.
And even very simply, you could just, if you don't have the time, you want stuffed mushrooms, you got mushrooms that turn it brown, what am I going to do? Take the stem out. Okay. And then some Progresso Italian bread seasoning.
Yep.
Okay. It's already flavored. Sprinkle that, little olive oil on it, maybe a little added cheese, like, some Parmesan. Just Bob's your uncle, just throw it in there and let it cook. And you're done. And
Brendan has survived this segment because he hates mushrooms. It's a sad, sad thing.
Yeah.
There we go. And if anyone wants the specific recipe I have for that, give me drop me a line at podcast@usafoods.com.au and I will send it to you.
Could I go for a recipe?
Yes, please. Your turn. Just jump in.
Now, this is my favorite current thing to eat.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is a Jamie Oliver from, it's a comfort food, really.
Well, yes.
And it's butter and sage nundi. It's GNUDI. So you go on to, just Jamie Oliver nundi and you get the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what you're doing, you're getting ricotta.
Yep.
Okay. And it's got to be good. I love Aldi, but don't buy the Aldi ricotta because they're one in the little plastic thing. is good for making cannolis. It's very loose and
Yep.
blended, so to speak. You really want a firm, one that you buy at the market where you
I was
see
gonna
like
say
the
market or
wheel
good
of it.
deli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see the wheel. You want a piece of that because that's nice and firm.
Okay.
So you don't have to drain it that much. So you're getting that, and then you're flavoring it with some Parmesan cheese. You're throwing into it some nutmeg, a little grated into it, and then you can put other things into it. So like if you want to, as you're forming it, put your finger into the middle of it, then poke some mozzarella in the middle, and then
Nice.
put that ball back. So you're making a ball the size of a golf ball.
Okay.
All right. And then once you have that, you press it tight together. And if it's still wet, then it's not really. Then you need to drain the ricotta just in a strainer and or a cheesecloth and just let it strain for a little while. Then you need 00 semolina or 00 flour. Either one works.
Okay.
Okay. Or a combination of both if you like. So you roll it into the semolina. Now you got to go to a market and get the 00. So it's really, really fine.
Mhm.
Okay. It's like baby powder.
Right.
Okay. Now what this is doing is absorbing all the extra moisture out of the ricotta.
Okay.
Okay. So, and you let that sit for an hour or two overnight, and then you dust some more and just roll it around in the pan that you have it in that they're sitting in.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then once that's ready, and it's probably best to do it and let it chill really good, maybe even overnight.
Okay.
And not even covered. You don't even need to cover it because you really want it to dry up.
Makes sense.
Right. And then even in the morning when you're ready to do it, maybe if you want to put just roll them around again with your hands, just covered with some of the semolina, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Put up a pot of boiling water, salted.
Yes.
Okay. Now to cook them, it's really easy. They go in, they drop to the bottom. Use one of those big scoopy things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they float up to the top. They're done.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Drain them out. And then you put them into your pan. Now, so your pan is basically going to be a butter sauce with sage. Ooh. That's all it is. Sage, butter sauce, some of the water that you're cooking, because that has that starch in it, that'll thicken it up into that. Pour it all together. And maybe like some of that sage, so you take it out like for an appetizer, like 2 per person.
Right.
With a little bit of sage on top and drizzle that butter sauce over it. This stuff is so easy. And then a little bit of lemon. That's the other thing. Add some tonic, squeeze a little bit of lemon on top of it. It is so easy. People will think that you got this from a gourmet recipe. You spent hours and hours to do it, and it'll probably take you 20 minutes. It says here, okay, excuse me. So it says here it's 45 minutes to prepare. Or I think that's all up. Preparing it and cooking is 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay. 8 hours and 45 minutes. So 8 hours in the fridge. So he does want you to keep it in the fridge for overnight.
Yeah.
Okay, to firm it up. But
well,
again,
it's nice to do something ahead too that you just take out and cook.
Yeah, and the only thing, the cooking is only boiling water and doing the butter. Yeah. Okay, even the butter you could do in advance and then just warm it up and then throw it all onto stir it around into it. And you could might want to practice first before you have family over.
It's a good point.
To get the idea of how firm it needs to be, because if it's in your hand after it's been in the fridge for overnight and it feels swishy, when you throw it in the water, it's going to fall apart. Yeah. So and Jeanette made one where we were having a discussion. She used the semolina, and I said no, it should have been 00 flour.
Right.
So she did the thing, and it was still soft. And I said no. So I used the flour on the second dose of it and then did it again in my hand with the flour. So I had flour and a semolina on it. And the flour, I think, was more absorbent than semolina. So, but it worked out. And so you can fix it. So even if it comes out too wet,
you can still
just give it more flour or more semolina and you can fix it.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
So, and it is, you had, did you?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's the recipe, Barbara.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I don't even have to look it up. I've got it. I'm putting it right here.
Yeah. And it's once you do it, you don't even need the recipe. That's how simple it is.
Well, yeah, because that's
like 3 ingredients.
And remembering you do it, I do have the problem of when I think of something.
Yeah, you forget about it.
Well, or I'm just like, but I want it now. I don't want it tomorrow. Yeah. But that is something you can very well do. And again,
like I bought ricotta at Costco.
Right.
And it's a big round one. It comes in like a pie thing.
Yes.
And actually, you can see all the water sitting at the bottom. So it's actually draining into the thing that they put in it.
Oh, that's good. And you can just...
because I want to make some calzones tonight.
And what time do you want us?
Well, Jeanette eats early, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Early bird special?
Yeah, the
I
early bird special.
understand.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Yeah, I feel like I'm letting us down because I'm back to a 70s, 80s classic.
Okay. Well, that's a new classic.
It's a new classic.
Well, that might have been around in the 70s. I
could
just
be.
never knew about it.
Oh, no,
I
I've never heard. It's like giant gnocchi almost.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
ricotta gnocchi.
Yeah. But so good. Easy. Go ahead. Next.
Next, okay, so there is a baked spinach dip. So
Mhm.
this baked spinach dip, but you can also make pinwheels. Have you ever done those with tortillas?
Well, I never did it, but I've seen it done. Yeah.
Mom made us squeeze how much spinach before our engagement party once. Like we had an engagement party at home, and all of a sudden it was just like, right, everyone is in the kitchen, and here's T-tails squeezing out frozen spinach to get all the water out of it, put you to work.
Oh yeah. See, Jeanette does that with she does with the Knorr,
Mhm.
and I think she uses tin shrimp or tin prawns or whatever, and
Okay.
drains all that out, and then mixes it together, makes a dip out of it.
Yeah, well, see, these are all kind of similar. Where
Yeah.
if you have the right stuff in your cupboard,
Yeah. You don't even need a recipe; just throw it
no,
together.
and pretty much this one has no measurements, so it's
Yeah.
just throw it together. So baked spinach dip, or you can do the pinwheels, right?
Yeah.
So you need either, now you're gonna have to translate this, people, a 10-ounce pack of frozen spinach,
Mhm.
thawed and drained. Which once you thaw it,
250 grams.
Yep.
300 grams.
you stick it in a clean cloth, a tea towel,
Yeah.
and squeeze all the water out of the spinach. Or you can use fresh spinach, but cook it and then drain it again.
And get all the sand out.
Get all the sand out. So I highly recommend the frozen spinach
Yeah.
because
Now, Jeanette buys it. It comes in little blocks of frozen spinach.
it's great if you want to throw one in. I get
Yeah.
that now too.
Mhm.
Okay, so you need that, some cream cheese, some mayo, some garlic, some parmesan, some Asiago.
Where are you going to get that?
Sometimes Aldi has it.
Yeah.
And sometimes markets.
Oh, okay.
Right. So onion powder, salt and pepper,
Mhm.
and mozzarella.
Yep.
Right. You mix that all together. You can put like a Monterey Jack in as well. And now our family, we always had water chestnuts in it. I like the crunch.
Yeah.
So mix it all together. And what you can do is you get a cob loaf, a round loaf, take the middle out
Oh, yeah.
carefully
Mhm.
because you're going to chop that up so people can use it to dip into. Put that dip into the cob and then bake it until
Oh.
it's bubbly,
Mhm.
right? So you can do it that way, or you can have it, you want the cheese melty, so you wouldn't have it cold, but you can also put it in pinwheels as well. And so that is just getting a round tortilla, just roll that out. So on a flour tortilla, roll it up and chop it. And then they look really pretty on a platter, but that's more if you're taking something into work. Like, it's a bit big for a Thanksgiving hors d'oeuvre.
Mhm.
And now, I think that's it. Do you have another recipe for us, Phil?
No, I only did the one. Sorry.
Well, no, that's okay.
Oh,
I understand that.
yeah. Well, I didn't think about it. I could probably think of another one, but you got time for letting me think?
Pause the time.
Pause it. Pause it for about an hour and a half. Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. But we could,
That's,
we still got a little bit of time here. So
yes.
some of the other famous things that we talked about in the past to bring back up
Mhm.
is Mary Jane, how she does her stuffing.
Oh, yeah. Tell
Okay,
us.
so she uses, because there's never enough stuffing. So
No,
she makes
that's
all the
right.
stuffing up in the pan. Then she puts it into baking tins for muffins in a
Mhm.
muffin tin.
Right.
And she puts it in that, and then she bakes that. And then
Yeah.
everybody has their own extra stuffing that's nice and crispy. Like, the stuffing that you get at the backside of the turkey that's sticking out a little bit, that's crunchy. Well, that's
Yes.
how all of this comes
Well,
out. So you need to put a little bit of oil or butter on top of it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it gives it it needs that extra fat in
Yeah.
it to get that crispiness.
See, we are so afraid that we're going to kill someone that we don't actually stuff the bird. My whole family, it goes back. We stick it full of fruit. So, like, I have onions, oranges, lemons in the bird, but I put mine in a pan.
Yeah. Well, but it's nicer in
But
the
then-
tin, in the baking muffin tin.
Yeah, because you get crunchy all around. Because I was
Crunchy.
saying that
And it's
corner
all
piece everyone wants.
Right. It's all like single serve.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what makes it even better. But again, it is not the season here to get fresh chestnuts.
No.
But like we said, my aunt used to throw the chestnuts in there. Dice them up, throw, and that's just extra taste and flavor. I don't know how the water chestnuts will be, but they might.
Well, they
of
might
course
do
you
a big
can-
crunch.
Crunchy.
I actually made a mini Thanksgiving dinner during the middle of winter,
Yeah.
and then thought to myself, why don't I do this more often? Because you don't have to do the whole production, but you can
Right.
make a little pan of stuffing. I had a rolled up turkey roast. I
Mhm.
didn't have the big guy. And, I made the sweet potatoes and all that,
Yeah.
and that was enough. And gravy. It
Yeah.
was
We gotta have the gravy.
Oh my God. And we
Yeah.
had scalloped potatoes too.
Mm. See, and that's also another thing. A lot of people buy the powdered ones, the instant ones, but to make it simply, scalloped potatoes, the recipes are all over the internet. It's a 5-minute process.
I
Peel
know.
potatoes, cut them in strips, and just layer them. It's like lasagna, just layer it, and then you bake it, and it's done. And it's like, wow, the flour and the milk all came together and makes it that creamy.
It worked.
Yeah, it works so easy.
Now, were your family actually, potatoes are a touchy subject at Thanksgiving because
Yeah.
we don't, unless it's scalloped potatoes, my family doesn't serve potatoes. It's sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
A lot of people have mashed potatoes. We never did.
No, we never had mashed potatoes.
No, there's some
Not
people.
very Italian,
Well, no, I know, but
Yeah,
you
we
did
had
have
roasted potatoes because the roasted potatoes, always done in the, cooking around the bird and all that. Always with the
Nice.
fat of the turkey.
Ooh, I've never done roast
Yeah.
potatoes like that.
Yeah.
I might have to.
But
start
see,
that
like
this
also
year.
going back to Jamie Oliver, he does it where he parboils the potatoes
Mhm.
and then he puts them into a calendar. Or I never knew what a calendar was. I thought it was the thing on the wall
Right.
because the
To
Italians,
drain it.
the Italians was a school of pasta. So you put it in a school of pasta and you shake it around,
Yes.
and that makes it rough on the outside.
And then they get more crunchy bits.
And then, yeah.
Oh, yes, I do the half squished ones.
Yeah. Or you could do it with a fork too.
Yes.
Just beat it up on the outside a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and that makes it crunchy. And then, but the other thing to do is, even if you're not making a roast, I've done this plenty of times, like in your air fryer, put a pan in there. You can put a pan in your air fryer.
Yep.
And then put your potatoes in there, and then just rough them up, even with anything, a fork, a knife, the end of the cheese grater or something like that, and then coat it with olive oil, and then whatever seasonings you like. Of course, you need some salt, maybe some garlic powder or whatever, anything you like. Toss it around in that,
It'll
and
stick.
then bake it. Put it into that air fryer, and then cook it until golden brown. Keep on turning it every 5 minutes or so. Oh, perfect.
Yum.
Nothing better than a crispy potato.
I have done them in duck fat before too, and that's been very good. Now, we were lucky enough to have Thanksgiving meal with you guys. And you had Jeanette made the mushrooms, I think your mother made.
Oh, yeah, with the tomato sauce.
Yes, so tell us about that because that was really nice.
So, thinking back as a kid, my mother making them, she made it quite often when we had even on a Sunday dinner. So go up to Key Food, remember the time you used to buy the mushrooms and it comes in a little wooden.
Yes.
And it was long and oblong.
Yeah, it was like
thing.
a punnet thingy,
yeah.
but yeah.
So she used to buy it that way. Cut them up. She used to quarter them, put them into some salted boiling water first. So she cooked it that way, drained it, and then she had I would say diced tomato out of a can.
Right.
Put that in with onions and garlic, but it was very loose. It wasn't like a saucy sauce, and I think probably some water from the mushrooms, so because that would be like a mushroom consommé.
Yeah,
and then just put them all together. So the onions were already softened. She'll cook that up with the tomatoes.
Yep,
and that was already softened, and then the mushrooms went in last.
Oh, so good.
It was just very simple thing. Now I don't know where she got that. I don't know if she got that recipe from my aunts or my grandmother, because she's not Italian, putting tomato sauce in with mushrooms, or maybe it's something she thought of herself.
Well, it's nice to have a different side. I think that's where families sort of make it their own.
Yeah.
And those are the things you remember and you miss. So because it's springtime instead of autumn, I end up, and the girls, even though I think they feel comfort seeing it on the table, I don't know how much they eat it anymore. Like Mackenzie I make asparagus because first of all, it makes me think of where I come from, which is a big asparagus growing area, but it's readily available and I blanch it. And then I marinate it in basically vinaigrette for a day.
Yeah.
So chop red onion thinly, put that in there, some garlic, heaps of black pepper, a vinaigrette, balsamic vinaigrette, and then just flip it up,
Yeah.
and
See
do
that,
it.
and that's like my mother and even Jeanette makes the asparagus that way with a vinaigrette. That's not my favorite way. I
Well,
don't.
it's like I serve it like a salad. It's cold
Yeah.
when I serve it.
Now I've just recently seen where using wild asparagus, which you probably can never get here.
No.
But when you get the asparagus and it's the type of season when they're really thin,
Yes.
and you don't know what am I going to do with these?
Yeah, they're wispy. Sort of
wispy.
Thing. Yeah.
With pasta, with spaghetti.
Oh wow!
So you basically cook them both together, drain it, and then aglio it. Oil and
that'd
garlic.
be lovely.
And with those real thin asparagus, that looked really good.
That looks amazing. Actually, the thought of that is amazing.
And again, just so simple.
Oh yeah, well, the simple things are often the best.
Are the tastiest.
And one thing I do change because Mackenzie's vegan, so I do a stuffed. I have a hard time this time of year finding a little pumpkin, or a little squash, but I'll do that, and I will make it my own stuffing because she loves the stuffing. So I make a version of that, but I kind of bulk it up with like a grain. So like a quinoa or brown rice, and I put cranberries in it and try to put all the flavors of Thanksgiving that I can without meat and butter.
Yeah. And then it goes also well if you going to stuff your turkey with that.
Yeah. And so just bake it.
And a lot of people make a wild rice stuffing.
I've done that one year for Christmas though. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we have had that with a standing pork roast.
Oh,
so where it's around, and like here, like if you go to a butcher, they could do a standing rib roast for you. Probably cost you about $600. Okay, but you can do that, and then that's your stuffing. But we had it's a Martha Stewart recipe where she does that in I think her family Christmas one, which was one of her first ones she did. And you would go get dried prunes and you soak them overnight in brandy, and that goes into your wild rice stuffing.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
That is so good.
Oh, prunes and pork, that would be lovely.
Yeah. Now, I bought ribs up at the market, and at the Vietnamese butcher, because they use a lot of pork, but they cut their ribs differently. So I bought their ribs, and they were really good. So they were really fatty, but they were short ribs. They were very small. But in theory, when I started to do them, I said, okay, I'm going to coat them and sous vide them, right? And then I said, all right, I'm going to cut them now because they are pretty dense, with meat on the bottom of it. And after I cut them, I put them down, and I said, well, this is like a little mini standing rib roast. So
you can do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean. And then cooking them, because there's so much meat on them, okay, you can actually do a mini standing rib roast without going through all that expense. So just go to your local market, whether it be the Queen Vic or the Gdayall market or the South Melbourne market in Victoria. I don't know where else you are, that there's be a market around. And there's always Vietnamese butchers in there. And just look for their ribs.
Right.
Okay, which are they look similar on the backside of it from American ribs until you turn them over. Then they're bit higher, and thicker, and just cut them, and then you can make a big circle out of them. Then you can roast it, and then you can put your stuffing in the middle of that.
Okay, and when are you going to try that? When are you doing that?
Oh, well, I already did these versions of ribs. So the other thing, what I do with my ribs, all right, and so I would season them first. So I would use either Zach's seasoning, the sweet rub. Or I had this other one that I got out of Las Vegas for one of the places there that he's a butcher there, and I tried to get him to make me rubs that we could sell here. Never happened, but he had some really coyote rub, he calls it, and stuff like that. Really different than anything else on the market. So I did one with that, one with the other, and then because I'm not going to cook it as such. For a long time on a slow cooking, I did one with the barbecue sauce already in it. So I did it 3 different ways because I had enough to it, and then put it all in the sous vide 30 hours, take it out and in the airtight bags, and then freeze them. And then
you're ready to go.
And they're ready to go. Defrost them, and then put them like we cut them up. And then they go into the air fryer until they're seared, and you're done.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah. And so
anything you can do ahead,
and especially something that takes all those hours to make.
Mhm.
Because to make, ribs or any type of that slow meat, it takes hours,
Yeah.
and the sous vide is really good because you can't ruin it. It's almost impossible.
Oh, that's
You know.
that's probably what I need. Oh, Brendan needs that when he goes to find pork brisket.
Yeah. So like brisket, it's another meat that you could do in that. So in a brisket, you would put it into an airtight bag and put it into a sous vide, let it cook for, at 60 degrees for 30 hours.
Yep.
You put a little bit of a wrap over the top so the evaporation doesn't go away, so it doesn't evaporate all the water. And the next day you wake up and take it out and either brown it off then or freeze it and have it some other time.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we wandered off the Thanksgiving things there.
But that's okay because, we are in a different country and turkeys might be hard to get this year.
Yeah.
So standing rib roast might fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of things are going to be, well, like for us, pumpkin is pretty difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where there's the great world pumpkin shortage.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and transportation problems.
So, supply chain is a nightmare. So,
but then if you have a lot of people at your house, those ribs work really well.
Absolutely.
And that $100 you spend for an A Nova is that brand of sous vide, and you can buy them online. They're about $100.
Worth doing. Well, use it, and you are someone that has used it consistently since you got it, which so has to be good. Because sometimes you get those things and it's good for like the first 3 months, and then it's in the back of the cupboard and you forget about it.
Same thing with we spent all the money to get those vacuum bag things.
Yeah.
So buying it, and then even at Costco, they sell the machine, and then they sell the extra bags. Extra bags cost a fortune at Costco. They go 2 or 3 times a year on sale over at Aldi.
Yep.
For a third the price, or you buy them at Krogan online.
Yep.
Also for about third the price you buy them at Aldi at Costco. So there you go. Buy your machine there, and then get your bag somewhere else.
See, we're chock full of information here.
We're loaded. Well, speaking of loaded, I think we're going to get loaded now. Okay, get into the holiday spirit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now we are going to be taking a small break, and we'll be back with you say it, Phil.
Oh, recipe rounding round.
Yeah.
Ripper recipe roundup.
Yes, woo. That's it. Woo!
So this is our last show for November.
It is.
And don't forget, the stuffing is the word if you want that discount.
That's right. And if you want to come visit us in store, you can come to 73 Cochrane's Road, Moorabbin. And we're now open late on Friday nights during the long summer evenings. We're open till 8 p.m. The rest of the week, it's 10 to 5. And Sunday, it is 11 to 5.
Okay. And now we're going to go to the personal best, and it's your turn today.
It's my turn. Now, mine is a simple. Now, I think everyone should wind up the last episode as well because it kind of ties in. I love when we get this product in the shop because it gives me fond memories. It is the air. Now, close your eyes, imagine yourself on the plane. On the plane, they come around. Would you like a drink? May I have two? It is the Mr. and Mrs. T's Bloody Mary mix, but the plain size. The airplane size. So this is 5.5 ounces.
Enough for a drink and a bit.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many mils? It has 163 mils in it. It's good. It's got no booze in it.
No, you got to add your own.
Add your own. But I actually often just drink that straight. No booze in it.
What's the matter with you?
Well, but then I work
feeling well.
That is right. But I get this at work as well because it is just spicy enough for me.
Yeah.
It's because it's not the bold one. I feel like it's tomato juice, but not.
Yeah. Exactly.
It has a good flavor to it. It's got, I'm sure it has celery salt and all that cocktail.
It has a lot of salt to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's right. That's why it's a little
you need the
can.
alcohol and the ice.
That's why it's a little can, but it's one of my favorite things. And it's the first thing I get on the plane. And I also have been known to stick that when I've had a bigger bottle in the fridge or a Bloody Mary mix. I can stick that into things I'm cooking. I want to add a little bit of zing. So I have done that to different tomato sauces. That's right, like gazpacho. I've also done it. I know I threw some in some chili once that I did, and it hit the spot. Mm-hmm. But it's like a little container of joy for me, and thinking about being on a plane, which none of us have been on for a while.
Like, you don't want to open up a big bottle and then for one drink.
That's exactly right. Because I don't. Because it might be, I might just have it on the weekend.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
just
want
have
it during
you have
the
that
week.
urge, but not to drink.
Yeah,
to
that's right.
oblivion,
Now,
yeah.
we don't have that small of a can, but we do carry for our Canadian friends. You can get, we have Clamato also in
Yeah.
sort of
We have
an
reordered
8
that,
ounce.
the little ones.
Oh, and it's the same thing.
Same
It's a
size.
great idea. Sometimes you just want a little taste of it. You
Yes.
don't need a big thing.
Mhm.
So that is my product
Yeah.
that I
and you
do
can mix
enjoy.
it with vodka,
Absolutely.
tequila.
Anything you like. You can
Some
make
people-
it. You can add some more Worcestershire or more Tabasco or anything you want in it as
Yeah,
well.
And some people, you ever had it with gin?
I've never had it
Some
with
people
gin.
have had it. I know. I can't put that together. That taste.
I can't imagine that because gin to me just is citrus. It's not
Yeah.
tomatoes. I don't know.
But then again, you put lemon in it, and the Bloody Mary. Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
so, and if you haven't had a Bloody Mary before, this is the way to try it.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
you go.
now we're going to move on to our Ripper recipe roundup.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah. So this is taking the place of the Nat Nosh that we used to do.
Yes.
So
So
Just we pick out one from each category for each day of the week, and Barbara has National Cake Day.
So National Cake Day. I thought, sometimes you just want a little something. You don't want to make a whole cake. This takes all of 5 minutes. It's a vanilla mug cake.
Oh, okay.
And it's got sprinkles in it. So sprinkles make you happy. Right? So what you need is a 1/4 cup plus 1.5 teaspoons plain flour, 2 tablespoons sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, a dash of salt, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 3 tablespoons of milk, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I'd put a whole teaspoon in, and a teaspoon of sprinkles. I would, if you can get some jimmies, I'd get those myself. So you add the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt, and mix them up in the mug. And then you stir in your milk, melted butter, and vanilla extract until smooth. Making sure you scrape the bottom to get all the good bits up, and then stir in your sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
And cook in the microwave for 70 to 90 seconds.
Oh,
that's it. Until the cake is just set, but barely shiny on top. It'll grow. It's quite fun to watch.
Yeah.
Allow to rest in the microwave for 1 minute, and then
go for it.
Okay. And you don't have to share it. If you're quiet enough, no one knows it's happening.
Yeah. Make sure, just stand by the microwave so when it gets down to 1 second, open the door.
That's exactly right. There's
before
no
the beep goes off. Yeah.
And but we got in the habit a few years ago. Ainsley got a mug cake cookbook for Christmas, and you can put chocolate cakes with peanut butter in it.
Yeah.
It's quite, and the restaurants will make sort of little sponge cakes in the microwave.
Oh.
So, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
There you go.
So my go is National French Toast Day.
Oh,
now, French toast is something like my mother made all the time. So
beautiful.
I use my mother's recipe.
Perfect.
Okay. Which is basically crack open an egg, you beat it up, pour in some milk. Never measured anything. Pour some milk in.
No measure.
A little, because the vanilla extract used to come in the bottle with that little bitty little cap full of vanilla extract into it. Okay. Cinnamon.
Yep.
Beat it all up together. Get your bread, dip it in there. Then you have a hot pan, melted butter.
Oh yes.
And then you do it on each side. Press it. When we turned over, we used to squish it down for whatever reason. So we press it down. So I still make it the same way, and I love it with, putting syrup on it, but I also have to have it with jam.
Oh.
Like strawberry jam. So when I'm eating it, I cut it up and butter on it, of course, a little bit of syrup, and then I don't know how much sugar I'm getting in the morning.
You don't want to think about it. It's sometimes food.
And then the coup de trois. Is that the right word? Or coup de trois? Whatever. The coup, whatever. Bacon.
Oh.
Put it on with the bacon. Blow your heads off.
Magic.
Oh, it is just magical.
That sounds fantastic.
And even you want to make it better, cauli bread.
Ah.
Because sweet bread.
Yep.
So it's sweet bread. It's even better. And so if you go to Costco, they have the Glex bread there. I don't know all the Costco, maybe just only in Victoria. And if you slice it nice and thick and let it sit in that, the batter, and then do it. Yep. So good.
Oh, that's so very nice. We have a tradition in our house. The first day of school and the last day of school, French toast.
French toast. You make it the same way?
a little bit different. Mom does a little bit different, where she would make almost a batter. So what you've done with a bit of flour,
Yeah.
just a bit, like more eggs,
Mhm.
and a little bit of baking powder.
Oh, okay.
So same thing, dipping it, but it kind of puffs up.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of your squish. So,
Yeah.
but the kids love it. And my friends, when they would stay over, they would go, "Is your mom making French toast?" But it's so yummy. And that's why that was like the special last day of school, first day of school
And you
thing.
just need stale white bread.
That's all you need. And sometimes you go, "Oh, I'm just going to let those two sit out for a little bit."
Yeah. The only time, like a lot of people don't buy white bread anymore. You know. But if you're gonna make French toast, you need white bread.
That's exactly what you need. Or the challah, yes.
Or the colic. Yeah, but don't use wholemeal bread or bread with seeds in it.
I have made for little ones when the kids were little. I made it in sticks.
Oh, yeah.
So I chopped it up in like thirds or fourths and kind of fried them
It's
that
like
way.
the frozen bread, you know, they come frozen
That's
sticks.
right. The little hands could hold it.
Yeah. And then the other thing, you know, you could always make a bunch of them and freeze them individually into a little bag and then take them out and put them in the toaster.
But like, I think the whole idea of the vanilla, because we do same thing, vanilla and cinnamon, that is the difference rather than plain old.
Yeah. Yes. And then the last time that I was in the States, met with John, one of our suppliers, and they have a whole bunch of stores too, this company. And we're walking around and, you know, they have like a cabinet filled with the alcohol and like the premium stuff, like with a lock and key. And then walking down and a little bottle of vanilla extract, which used to cost $1.99.
Right.
Like $32.88, you know, like, John, why isn't those in the lockup cabinet?
Yeah, exactly.
The price of vanilla extract has gone
through the roof.
Through the
Yep.
Well, went through the roof and gone to the moon. You know, it's just crazy.
Well, I've noticed it because when I buy some and then I'll buy it and then I'll run out of it in a year or whatever. Like I'll buy a few, and then it was the same thing. I was like, how much did they want? Like my firstborn with it as well.
Silly. All the chefs out there now will have to use French, you know, real vanilla. That's why. Yeah, they want the pods.
Yeah, so you can get the little paste as well.
Scrape it, yeah. All right, so you could do this one because it's one of your favorite chefs,
Auntie Julia. Yeah. I wish. And I think this is true. I think Tony Cruz might agree with this too. People who love to eat are always the best people.
There you go.
There we go. And thank you very much. Next week promo. Tell me, producer.
Christmas what?
Christmas gift ideas.
Oh, Christmas gift ideas.
That is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, so maybe something for the baker that you love.
And the candlestick maker. And the person who likes sweets, the person you don't know what to get.
Yep.
So these are all ideas. It's all going to be geared to a lot of stuff that we sell.
That's right.
But we'll try not to make an advertisement out of it, but just to give you general ideas of how to get your brain thinking about what could I give Aunt Janie or what can I give this kid or something, you know.
That's right. So it's time to sort of pick up a few bits and pieces as you're out and about. So we will do our best to help you.
Stocking stuffers.
Oh, yes. Yes. So
and of course, what to give to the your local alcoholic. Can't forget that.
That'd be my present. Yeah. Just joking. Yeah. Well, kind of.
No, I don't have a problem, and neither do you with drinking because we don't go to meetings then.
That's exactly right.
And everybody knows who we are. We're not anonymous.
Okay. That is right. And
all right.
thank you.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Yes, we will. Yeah. See you then.